For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet this easy retro daisy granny square pillow cover. The tutorial is up on my YouTube channel. And this is the layout, whereas each panel is going to consist of 4 squares. This is actually how you're going to layer them before you start joining them. Actually, just try to mix up your colors. This is how your squares must be looking like before you start joining them, whereas you can flip them and start working on the wrong side while making the right side facing down and the wrong side facing you. I have just placed the stitch markers in between there just to not to mess up with the arrangement of my squares. You are going to join with a yarn tail, whatever yarn you have, for as long as that yarn must have the same yarn color as the one you have used for edgings, and you're going to use a yarn needle by starting in one of the corners. Since in corners there are 2 stitches, of which instead of making chain 2 in between in the corners, I have only made 2 stitches in the corners, but I didn't chain 2. So you're going to start in one of the single crochet stitch and you're going to grab only front loops. Tie enough at the beginning here to fully secure your work and to avoid it from undoing itself. Now continue working in the next stitch front loops and continue just working doing that all the way until you at the end. And this is how your work must start to look like if you had joined using the wrong side facing you. And this is how the right side must be looking like. So it's very much up to you to start working either on the wrong side or the right side. So in my case, since I didn't like how the right side was looking like, so I decided to start working whereas the wrong side is the one that's facing down and the right side is the one that's facing me. And I'm just going to do the same thing I've done when the wrong side was facing me by starting in one of those stitches in the corner by grabbing front loops only. Make sure at the beginning that you have tied well your yarn to avoid your work from undoing itself, and just continue working in each stitch back loop, front loop, all the way until you reach the point where your stitch markers have marked your squares, or where your squares have joined with those stitch markers, and then you can just remove them and just continue joining your squares all the way to the end. Once you remove the stitch marker, just continue doing the same thing all the way and do not skip any stitch all the way until the end. Attach your next squares together all the way the same way you have attached your first two squares together, and just pull well your yarn there in between to make sure your squares have fully come together, and just continue doing the same thing all the way till the end. And this is just how your work must start to look like. At the end, also try to fully secure your end to avoid your work from undoing itself, and just make sure you have fully tied your yarn. You can just cut off the yarn and do the same thing across your squares to the other side, and this is just the same thing you're going to do for the pillow panel. After you have fully joined your squares together, now it's time to join your panels together. Whereas, just make sure when you're joining your panels together, make sure the wrong sides are the one facing each other. Whereas the wrong side for the panel that's down, the wrong side must be facing up, and the panel that's going to be on top of the other one, the wrong side must be facing down. And then just going to do the same thing, have joined your squares together by actually starting in one of the corner stitch, and just make sure you're going to grab front loops only all the way around, and just try to leave a bit open space where you are going to put in your pillow inside the cover. Just try to look for one of the stitch in the corner of actually that's one of the chain two that you have made in the corners, and because like I said, you're just going to do the same thing you have done when you have joined your squares together all around, and just try to leave one open side where you're going to put your pillows in before you fully secure the cover. But if you have a zipper, you can add the zipper, but if you don't have the zipper, then just put in the pillow inside the cover and then just continue sewing everything together. And this is just how you're going to put the pillow in the cover before you start to sew everything together. Push it in well and just make sure each corner is going in each corner and how it's supposed to be looking like. Just make sure it's perfectly fitting in before you start sewing everything together. Then start joining the top cover of the pillow to fully closing your cover. The same way you have been joining your squares together, and just try to push the pillow inside and join those pieces together all the way to the end, and just continue grabbing only front loops. If the yarn you have started joining your squares together is finished, just try to attach a new one where you're going to start in the next stitch, and just tie those ends together and just push those yarn tails inside your pillow, and just continue with the pattern all the way until the end to make sure your pillow is fully closed.